Hey. Oh, sorry. I started recording. Okay. I was trying to zoom in. Finding slope from 2 points. Today's lesson is finding the slope from 2 points. I'm getting my timer. I'm sorry. I'm getting my timer. Okay. We have found the rate of change in y and change in x, and we found the slope by using rise over run, like counting on the graph, going up, over, or down, over. And so now, what if you don't have a graph and all you have are 2 points? Well, time-wise, could you graph these and count the slope? Absolutely. But it would be more effective if you knew how to find the slope just from the 2 points. And so I'm going to teach you this formula, the slope formula. Slope is an m. I don't know why it's an m. Okay, this is like too zoomed out. It's like too zoomed in. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. Okay. I don't know where the m comes from, but m stands for slope. And the slope formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And I'm going to explain what that means. The y's are corresponding to the y coordinates in the points. The x2 and the x1 correspond to the x coordinates in the ordered pair. So we're just going to dive in. If you have 2 ordered pairs, 2, 3, and 5, negative 4, each ordered pair has a corresponding x and y. So the first one we're going to call x sub 1, y sub 1. And then the second ordered pair is going to be x2 and y2. If you label your ordered pairs, you're less likely to mess up. I've seen a lot of students over the years put the x's on the top, or they use the wrong numbers in the wrong place. And so if you order them, if you label them x1, y1, x2, y2, you're more likely to get it correct. Now, once I've labeled my ordered pairs x1, y1, x2, y2, I can find the change, which is subtraction. It's what we already did. So y2, so I'm going to actually write it out for you. y2 is negative 4 minus y1, which is 3. x2, which is 5, minus x1, which is 2. So, sorry guys, I'm sorry. So now I'm going to subtract. Negative 4 minus 3 is negative 7. Sometimes I can hear something like hitting against the wall of my house, and my washing machine is running. 5 minus 2 is 3. And I check, can I reduce it? No, you do not put in a mixed number. You just leave it negative 7 over 3, and there's my slope. Okay, let's go to number 2. Sometimes my table's sticky. I have 2 points, A and B. So point A is negative 4, 2. Point B is 2, 2. Again, I'm going to label x1, y1, x2, y2. We did this when we did the distance formula. And we labeled our points and we had to put them into the distance formula, but this is the slope formula instead. So m equals, I forgot to put m. M equals, we're going to start with y2. So 2 minus 2 over x2 minus negative 4. So a couple of things here. It still is going to be minus, and notice how it was a negative. So minus a negative 4, and that's okay. Go ahead and write it in, and now we simplify. 2 minus 2 is 0. 2 minus a negative 4, that would be plus a positive, would be 6. So here's a couple of things. We have 0 on the top, 6 on the bottom. If you're not sure what to do, type it in your calculator and double check. 0 divided by 6. And let's see what your calculator says. Your calculator is going to tell you 0. And so the answer is just 0. This is a 0 slope. This is a horizontal line. Notice my y values are both 2. So 2 minus 2 is 0. This is a horizontal line. This is a slope of 0. If you type this into your calculator, 0 divided by 6, you get 0. Don't leave it 0 divided by 6. Just put 0. Okay, example 3. We have 2 ordered pairs. So again, x1, y1, x2, y2. And now we just plug it into our formula. Negative 2 minus 3. And then negative 1 minus 0. And this is m. All right, so now we simplify. Negative 2 minus 3 is negative 5. Negative 1 minus 0 is negative 1. And then again, I have a negative 5 divided by negative 1. All right, so a negative divided by negative is going to be a positive. And 5 divided by 1 is 5. And so my slope is just 5. Now, if you were doing rise over run, that would be 5 over 1. but we're not going to write 5 over 1. We're just going to write the slope as 5. And again, if you have a negative on the top and a negative on the bottom, then those negatives, the negative divided by a negative is going to be a positive. All right, so number 4, x1, y1, x2, y2. And we plug into our formula -1 minus 2, because again, it's y2 minus y1, x2, 6 minus 6. So once, like getting it into the formula, just making sure you keep everything straight is probably the hardest part. Now we just simplify. -1 minus 2 is -3. 6 minus 6 is 0. So now you have a choice. You have 0 in the denominator. So type that into your calculator. -3 divided by 0. Okay, can't divide by 0. So your calculator is going to tell you error, and this is undefined. Undefined. This line would be a vertical line. If we were to graph these ordered pairs, like if you were to take these ordered pairs and put them on a coordinate plane, I'll just do it. 6, 2 would be here, and 6, -1 would be here, and see, it would be a vertical line. All right. So you try number 5. Pause it. You try. Find the slope of between R and S, and then press play when you're ready to see it. Okay, 3 minus 2. 3 minus 2 is 1. -4 minus 1 is -5. So my slope is -1/5. Now, you probably got 1 over -5, which is fine, but I just moved the negative up so you see it. There's nothing, mathematically, there's nothing wrong with leaving the negative in the denominator. It's just we don't see it because we read left to right, top to bottom. So it's better if you just put -1/5, because then you know that that whole slope is negative. Instead of 1 over -5, mathematically they're equal. But this one looks better, and when we read it, we see the negative. Okay? So from the table, so you try, but from the table, you're going to pick 2 points. It doesn't matter to me which 2 points you pick. Pick the ones with zeros. That seems probably the easiest. Pick those 2 points. So you have an x1 and a y1, and you have an x2 and a y2. So now that you have an x1, y1, x2, y2, put it into your formula, press pause, you find the slope, and then we'll press play. All right, so y2 minus y1 and x2 minus x1. So y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. 0 minus -2 would be +2. 8 minus 0 is 8. Again, we have a positive, but we can reduce. So 1/4 would be my slope. So 1/4 would mean every 1 foot you're going, because remember the y's are on top, so every 1 foot takes 4 minutes, whatever this is. Like to go up, every 4 feet it goes up, it takes, every 1 foot it goes up, it takes 4 minutes. And something, I don't know, maybe they're hiking or something. Well, that would make sense. Something every 1 foot would take 4 minutes, so it's got to be something moving really slow. All right, so down at the bottom, we just have a little bit of a review. A positive slope looks like this, a line going up in a positive direction, uphill. A negative slope is going downhill. A 0 slope is straight across. Ooh, that's not very straight. And an undefined slope is up and down. And so I wanted to show you this thing that I taught my algebra students before. It's just called slope guy or slope man. Okay, so draw a circle for a face. All right, so slope man has one eye, and that's a plus because that's a positive slope. And then over here he's winking, and so those are his eyebrows. So one eye is open, that's your positive slope. One eye is winking or closed, and that's his negative slope. Do you see the eyebrows are positive, negative? He needs a nose, so his nose is just going to be a long line with a U at the bottom. That's his nose, and what this is a vertical line has an undefined slope. So if you have a vertical line, that's an undefined, so it's the U. Now he needs a mouth. And slope guy is, you know, just kind of meh. He's not happy, he's not sad. So his mouth goes straight across, and he has little circles on each end, which stand for 0. So if a line is straight across, there's a 0 slope. So this is what I call slope guy. A positive slope, a negative slope, an undefined slope, and then a zero slope. So this is what we call slope guy. But anyway, so that's a little summary of the 4 types of slopes. Now you know how to find the slope using the slope formula, and we will practice more in class.